Hey Atomics, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the new character,
My one and
uh,
only goal is to
Lise.
become the epitome of a mage.
I'm not, so I'm gonna be honest. First off, I don't know why she's so tiny. She's really far back. Um, Second off, I don't exactly know how to pronounce her name. Um, I want to say Liselotte, but I know that's not right. But I also think Liselotte isn't right either. So let me know how you guys are pronouncing her name.
My one and
And
only
I think
goal
she's stuck
to
being
become.
tiny.
I have descended.
I think everyone's stuck being tiny. Well, I found a bug already.
My one and only
I've been
goal
playing this on my
to
phone,
become the
and
epitome of a
I
mage.
did not run into this bug at all. But now I found the bug. I found a bug. Alright, well, bug aside, maybe if we do this will fix it. Okay, that fixed it. You just gotta go to trust level and that will fix it. But I want to, actually, you know what, it's funnier if she's tiny.
My one
Oh,
and
now I
only
won't do it.
goal to
Never
become
mind.
the epitome
I
of a
broke it.
mage.
I broke it and then I fixed it. Okay, enough chitty chat. Let's get into this. So, she is a fire element, she is a healer, and she has the Sage subclass. Um, Realistically, this means that her kit is going to be kind of more designed around being support with a side of healing, and is going to be kind of geared more towards buffing slash cleansing in a way, shape, or form. So we're going to get into that. First things first that I really want to cover is I really want to cover her Transcend stars, mainly because she's got some very good ones. So at 4 stars, she gets +5 ally team speed. Yes, she has a speed, what is it, tutoring? Something like that? I can never remember the damn term for it. Basically, with +5 ally team speed, and then you got 5, and then at 6 stars, she gets another +5 ally team speed. So we have another character that we can get +10 speed with, other than D Delta and Mene. So that is another character we can get with some extra speed buffs, which is going to be nice. I mean, if you are playing against other people that are consistently using D Delta or Mene, being able to switch her in instead of having to use those two is just another really good option. So it's nice in my opinion. I like the idea of being able to have a speed buffer and being able to really use it. So next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about her skills. She's got some okay ones, and she's got a good one, depending on what you're doing. So first things first, she has her S1 Fake Meteor, attacks an enemy and heals the ally with the lowest health by 15%. Nothing too crazy, but it's also her burst. At level 1, effects are applied to all allies, so all allies will heal by 15%. Not too bad. At level 2, target AP plus 50, excluding the caster. Again, if you're doing level 1, that means everybody gets AP plus 50. Other than her, of course. And then at burst 3, you're healing 15%, getting 50 AP, and then also plus 2 turns of barrier. So a nice little defense just on her S1. And that's only 140 AP for it, so it's really cheap, all things considering. Being able to consistently have a good S1 that does some decent effects is super helpful in my opinion. I love this in a character. I love this in a kit. S2, Blessing of the Stars. It's a triggered effect when an ally uses an attack that targets all enemies. So any AoE that targets all enemies, all allies gain barrier and defense increase for 2 turns. The amount of the barrier strength is proportional to the target's max health. So, you have your Demi Luna, you nuke an entire team. Great, now everybody on your team gets a barrier and a defense buff. Really helpful in my opinion. This is super cool. I love this. And if defense increases 50%, so realistically, you'll be taking 50% less damage. That's not actually how it works, but realistically, it is helpful. And plus the barrier is going to give you a little extra HP, which is just really nice.
So irritating. We've only been apart for a bit. My heart is beating, and you're only just a commoner, so you'd better tell me before you disappear on me.
Okay. Anyway, S3, Astra Luminous, removes all debuffs and heals all allies by 35%, and also reduces skill cooldowns of all allies, excluding the caster, by 2 turns. So, not only do we have a wide cleanse and a mass heal, but it also reduces skill cooldowns. Being able to reduce skill cooldowns is super nice. I like it a lot because you're able to do a lot more with even 2 turns of skill cooldown reduction. That's still really nice. Next, she has a chain finish. After attacking, grants all allies a barrier for 2 turns with the chance of 100%. Again, barrier strength is proportional to the target's health. So, and then her dual attack is the same thing as her S1, heals by 15%. So, all in all, I like her kit. I like her skills a lot. Her S1 makes me very happy seeing a good, solid S1 that has a burst 3 that's not too bad. Plus, being able to keep barriers up all the time, in my opinion, is really nice. I mean, it's just like extra health. So, if everybody on your team gets extra health, that's super nice. And on top of it, her S2, that doesn't actually matter if she herself goes, but if an ally goes that does an AoE, it still triggers a barrier and defense buff, which is super nice. And it's not an agile response either. It's just a triggered effect. It's just a triggered effect, which means that it's not going to trigger anything that responds to agile response or anything like that, like how Christina would. Christina's agile response triggers when an opponent uses a non-attack skill. This, I don't think, would proc with Christina. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it yet. Please let me know down in the comments if you did test it and if it works. The next thing I want to go over is I want to go over her special gear, her very amazing exclusive equipment. So, her exclusive equipment, Astra Soteria. Pretty standard, reduces earth damage taken by 20%. That's normal that you're going to see on a healer, but this is where we get into some juiciness. Damage taken reduced for allies with a barrier. So not only is her S2 going to give you a defense buff and a barrier, but now on top of that, you're also going to be taking reduced damage as long as you have a barrier because of her exclusive equipment. She is quite literally everything I wanted in a healer. If you know how I play, I tend to play very turtle. And if you played Epic 7 before, or you've kind of been around the block on this game a bit, you kind of know what turtling is. She is the answer for how I would want to play turtle. She is exactly what I want in a healer. The ability to mass cleanse, reduce cooldowns, and just roll. Because if you can reduce cooldowns, essentially with her and D Drakon, you can essentially have a barrier up all the time. Drakon will keep her barrier up, and she'll keep the barrier up, and you basically will almost always have a barrier. This is exactly what I wanted in a healer. And that's not even the worst. That's not even the best part. At plus 10, increases damage dealt for allies with a barrier. So if you have a barrier, you're going to be taking less damage, and you're going to be doing more damage. I don't have the exact numbers. I could probably actually pull up the numbers. Let me... While I do this, while I let this page load... that's not the right thing. Hold on. It's all scuffed, I'm sorry. It's all sorts of scuffed. There it goes. While that loads, I'm going to talk about the rest of it. For her talisman, realistically, Saint's Talisman. There's no reason to not run like Saint's Talisman on her. Or Vanguard's Charm. Vanguard's Charm or Saint's Charm. Realistically, you'll want Vanguard's Charm for PvP. This is kind of what she's geared towards. She is kind of geared more towards PvP. Vanguard's Charm is probably better for her in that instance. The page just loaded, so let me find where she is. And then let me minimize that again because it's going to load again. Anyway, I'm going to talk about her gear set really quickly. There's a couple different options you could realistically do. I like Emblem of Dominance. 100% chance to increase the defense of all allies by 50% for one turn when using a burst skill. Here's my thinking. She procs her S2. Then she doesn't have a way to boost defense anymore. Now you can use like burst 3 and it's essentially doing the effect of the barrier and the defense buff of her S2 all in one. I gotta roll this till I get an HP roll instead of an attack roll, and that's what I'm gonna be doing, you know, in the next little bit. But this is what I have for now. Plus, it's got 12 speed on it, which is nice. You can run Obsidian Oath. This is what I'm using, just because I'm gonna try to get her fast enough to where even if she does get a debuff, Obsidian Oath procs. She cleanses her own debuff, and then she get S3 and cleanse everybody, and basically kind of take care of everybody's debuffs. Kind of like how my Mave is set up. My Mave is set up with an Obsidian Oath as well. And I think Obsidian Oath is probably the better one, just in my opinion. If you're playing a lot of PvE, realistically, you probably want Resurrection. That's Overdrive. There it is, Resurrection Token. You probably want Resurrection Token if you're playing PvE, but I think her kit is more geared towards PvP. And that's why I'm using Obsidian Oath instead. I think Obsidian Oath is just going to be better in today's meta with a lot of debuffers. Because of, you know, where is she? Cough, cough. Gnosis Nulla is still a fucking problem. Wee woo, wee woo. Gnosis Nulla is still very much a goddamn problem. And that's partly why I have Obsidian Oath, is because if I can decrease the debuff durations, it means that her next turn she'll be able to do something and I can mass cleanse. At least that's what I have planned. I haven't really tested it too much yet, but I like Obsidian Oath on her. I think it's a really good one. I think Obsidian Oath low key is probably the best option that we have. And then just speed set with high speed rolls. I mean, I got 2 18s, I got a nothing on this one that I'm rolling this one on, and then I got a 9 here. You definitely want to get a good bit of health if you can. Try to ignore the attack and everything if you can. You want HP and defense and resilience, in my opinion at least. So speed, HP, resilience, and then defense is the order I would do it, and then accuracy at the end. Obviously this is a little scuffed. And then resilience and evasion can kind of both be tied. The reason why I say that is because if you can avoid her getting a debuff, you can make sure that nobody else gets a debuff. And that's kind of the goal. You don't want anybody else getting a debuff. That way she can do her thing, and she can make sure everyone else does their thing. She is a very good enabler, in my opinion. I think it's honestly really, really solid. And I think genuinely she is pretty crazy of a character. I think she is definitely going to do some good work. I'm definitely going to be putting her on a PvP team soon here. Very, very soon, once I kind of figure out how I'm going to turtle right now, because of Demiurge Luna is being an absolute nightmare to deal with. And frankly, I don't like dealing with Demiurge Luna, so I'm trying to figure out how to turtle into that. So, anyways, with that said, I don't really think there's a whole lot else for me to cover, other than she's got a great skin for the battle pass. 10 out of 10. Definitely get it. I think that's it, honestly. I think I got through that pretty quickly, all things considering. Most of the time it takes me a lot longer than that. Yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all your amazing support. I know it's been a little bit. I got started on a new job, and then as soon as I started on the new job, my wife got sick, so I've been taking care of her, and then also trying to deal with work, so I haven't had a lot of free time. I've been playing kind of mindlessly, giving up an hour of sleep every night to just kind of keep up with the dailies and everything. But here I am. I'm back. I'm recording, and hopefully I'll be able to keep this up a little bit longer than I did before. I'm able to do it for like a week, and then I can't do it anymore, and then something happens. But I'm going to try to keep up with it this time. I appreciate all you guys. You guys are sick. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.